Welcome back to Four String. My name is Stud. I'm here with my best friend, who is also my co-host. How you doing, bud? How you doing, Dan?
What up, what up, what up? Real quick.
Ooh,
It's a
I
nice
like
cold,
that.
tasty beverage. We are working on getting a sponsor from a couple different beer vendors, but right now Bush is a finalist. So, cheers.
Sponsor us. Yep.
Gotta love it.
We have some fun topics, I'd say. Some interesting ones.
Before we get into it, can we just back up and say, why are you wearing a Yankees jersey? What's the deal there?
Here's why. I will give you the number, and it should say everything. Number 3.
Like early A-Rod?
No, Yankees. Babe Ruth.
Early A-Rod. That's why I said that. He was number 3 on the Yankees.
No, he was
on.
13.
Early on.
Early on, no, he was not, because 3 has been retired for forever now.
Oh, I'm thinking when he was on the Rangers.
Yes.
Son of a bitch.
Babe Ruth.
Oh, yeah? You watch a lot of Babe Ruth games in your day?
Yep. Actually, dude, I used to see him play at old Yankee all the time.
Right.
Yep.
Anyway, let's get back on it. What are the topics we're talking about today?
Well, someone got paid. A lot of money.
Big Dak.
Yeah.
Instead of Big Dick, he's Big Dak.
I mean, hey,
he's got a big old Dak.
To each his own, I guess.
Sorry. It's PG-13. My bad.
Yes, this is a children's show.
Right.
So, anyways, what are your thoughts? Because I have some, but to be honest, I want to hear.
Okay, so I got
first.
A whole laundry list of stuff, honestly, that I was kind of looking at as soon as I saw the news break on it. So the man got paid. It's a 4-year, $160 million contract. 126 of that is guaranteed, which is bonkers.
95 is fully, no matter
what. Right. So he set a record, or he will set a record for this year with 66 million of just a signing bonus.
Yeah, that's
the man signs the dotted line, 66 mil to his bank account. Done.
Dude, I get what? 3 of that
for writing your autograph, basically. That's bizarre. So he's getting 75 million for this year, which that's a decent salary, I'd say.
I'd say that's
nothing too crazy.
Yep, I'd say that's an average year of work.
Not even a year. They work 6 months out of the year, basically.
Yeah, but
because you're
put the
depending on
season,
playoffs with the Cowboys, you never know. But
the Cowboys won't see the playoffs in.
Hey, you don't know in the NFC East.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But
anyway,
I don't see it.
Contract aside, I personally think that the Cowboys made the right move there. I mean, is he overpaid? Yeah, probably. But in my opinion, all NFL players are pretty much overpaid. So it's kind of the way of the world at this point. But anyway, the reason I think it was a good move is because he was ranked number 4 in the league of all quarterbacks in 2017. Kind of cooled off a little bit in 2018, and he was only at 15. 2019 comes back again, and he's the 4th best in the league. Then 2020, he was lighting it up. I mean, he had 1,000, 1,856 yards or some crazy number like that in 4.25 games.
Yeah, that was
that's pretty much unheard of numbers. So I really think that he was on his way to, I mean, I don't want to say MVP because obviously, you only play 4.25 games. It's not, you can't make that assumption, but he was going pretty nuts. So I do think that stats wise, he's right there with some of the best of them. I think another reason is if you didn't sign Dak, who are your other options? On your roster right now, you got Andy Dalton and Ben DiNucci. Not good. So, on your roster right now, not looking great. Your other option would be to go after Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, because those are the two big quarterbacks that you've kind of heard rumors that they might not be with their teams kind of thing. But I mean, the thing with Russ is it's like, how much are you going to have to trade away to get Russell Wilson? And if you do trade away all those people or picks, how good are you going to be? And at that point, is it even an upgrade? So there's that to think about. And then I also got some stats here. Dak and Russ are tied with 15 game-winning drives in their first 5 seasons. The only player who's had more in that time span is Matt Ryan back when he was like Matty Ice. Like he was unreal, and Julio was the top receiver in the league, like hands down. He's tied for most 100-plus passer ratings in his first 5 seasons. And when he does get 100-plus, which isn't honestly that great of a game, the Cowboys are 31-3. So if he gets 100-plus passer rating, it's likely that the Cowboys are going to win. But I would say the biggest reason on why the Dak signing was a good move, I feel like Dak takes a lot of like flack because he's a Cowboy, maybe. I'm not even really sure why he gets kind of like a little bit of hatred to him. But he's the 6th best all time for touchdown interception ratio. Like, let's just take a second to think about that. 6th best all time. That's pretty outstanding. And he's behind only Deshaun Watson, Brady, Russ, Mahomes, and Rodgers. So, like, you think about that, Russ ain't going anywhere. I don't think.
But I don't know about that.
But we'll see. We'll see.
But hold on.
Mahomes sure as hell ain't going anywhere.
No, he's
Rodgers
chief for life.
Rodgers, he's definitely not going anywhere this year. Willie, yet to be determined. I hope not, but he's probably not going anywhere. Brady's not leaving Tampa. Watson, who knows?
He's out.
So because Watson and Russ are your only two.
Yeah.
But it's like, how much are you going to have to give up if that's who you go after? And once you do give up that ton, how much are you really upgrading from Dak to either one of them? I would say not that much.
Well, all right, here. So I just kind of pulled this up because I was curious as to where the Dallas Cowboys fell in the NFL draft order. They pick 10th. So
that's not good enough to get a quarterback.
That is
this year.
That is. However, what you could do on other kind of hypothetical, you can maybe toss in a package of the 10 pick and say is Ezekiel Elliott, because he is very highly paid. The cap just fell. It frees up a ton of space for you. So you could trade him plus that 10 pick, move up, say, I don't know. I mean, you can move up to whatever, and then you can find quarterback.
I mean, I'm not saying that's totally out of the question, but for one, if you do that, are you really going to be upgrading? Because the only one I think you could even say in the possibility of an upgrade would be Trevor Lawrence. But then if you're going to trade all that stuff to go and get Trevor Lawrence, who's a rookie and you don't even know how good he's going to be, I just think there's too much unknown there. And you're still going to have to give up just as much that you would to get Deshaun or Russ. So it's like, why? Because the only two in this draft, I would say, are Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. Fields, I'm not sold on, personally.
Fields, I would take.
Over Dak, I don't think so.
Then if he,
at least I wouldn't.
Then if he fell to 10, which he might,
that's a possibility.
You could do Trey Lance at 10. He's solid. And I mean, there's just so many like hypothetical trades that are out there. None of them I really loved. So I do think that signing him was a solid choice.
Yeah.
However, how much you paid him, I don't know. I don't think he's worth the
second most in the league.
Yeah, the second highest paid in the NFL. He for sure isn't. He, I mean, it's my opinion obviously matters to no one. I mean, in hindsight, it doesn't matter to anybody. However, it's tough because they did the right thing for sure.
Yeah.
However, could you have signed him for, say, 4 years for 140?
He wanted that big payday.
Well, I'm sure. Well,
because
so does everybody.
I mean, I don't believe anything that I hear anymore because it's all a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
But I mean, from the sound of it, the Cowboys had made him an offer and he turned it down because it wasn't enough money. So it's like
there's always a possibility of pulling out the second franchise tag because that second franchise tag is about 40 as it is. So if you're paying him 40 long term,
again, I mean, I don't take this with a grain of salt, but
franchise.
I was told he didn't want to get franchise tagged.
Well, he doesn't have it.
Well, you kind of do though, because at this point in the league, guys are pretty much making their own rules now. They can say, "Hey, I don't want to play here anymore," or "Hey, I'm not making enough money. Extend me." And these owners will do it if the player is good enough. So, I mean, had Dak said, "Nah, I'm going to hold out," or "I'm not going to play here if you franchise tag me." At that point, you can franchise tag him all you want, and you're going to pay him. But that's not a guarantee that he's going to be on the field for you on Sundays.
Well, I mean, if you ask me, I would have said, "Hey, take the franchise tag," or I'll either one, hope that someone falls to me at that 10th pick, or say I'm not confident towards that 10th, then I would trade up. And then it's like, okay, I'll pay someone a rookie deal for the next 5 seasons, save myself probably 130 million over these next 5 seasons.
That's not the objective. You're not looking to save money.
I mean, yes, but
you're looking to compete.
Well, and the teams that compete for Super Bowls are the quarterbacks that have rookie contracts or the veterans that take pay cuts.
They're not entirely true, though.
Outside of the Chiefs, who just paid Patrick.
I was going to say he did not take a pay cut.
I'm about to say outside of him, but that's because they haven't had to pay plenty of other people. Plus, they just cut like 2 or 3 of their offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. They just cut Fisher today. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes next season might have a shitty line because he's being paid. Yeah, so then
Super Bowl.
Yeah, so well, I mean, that's because
that's a good pass rush.
Starters were were out. Plus, on top of the fact
he's been running around for his life since he took the starting job, though. I mean,
yes. Well, they won the Super Bowl when he was on his rookie deal. Seahawks, right. Super Bowl. Russ was on his rookie deal.
I'm not saying it doesn't help.
I'm sure if you look back, you could find plenty of.
Well, yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers was on his rookie deal when
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, I'd have to double check that. He may not have been actually.
Maybe he just signed because that
Either
was
way, he
2010.
wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't his max contract like he's getting
Oh,
now.
for sure.
So he may have
And
been past his rookie, but he wasn't getting
I'm
fat paid.
I'm pretty sure 2015 Peyton was on a lesser of a contract in comparative to others in the league.
There's no question that having a rookie deal or a cheaper quarterback so that you can sign other players helps. But I think the biggest thing is you need that franchise guy. I mean, if you take a look back at Super Bowls, no matter what contract they were on, they're franchise quarterbacks.
I mean,
other than maybe a handful, maybe.
I mean, but say there's one in recent past that is not a franchise quarterback, Nick Foles. Look, there's one.
That's a good team.
Yeah,
like the Eagles were a solid team at that point.
Yeah. Plus, at that point, they had Carson on his rookie deal, so it was like that's just the key to competing is having a quarterback on their rookie deal for a less expensive veteran.
The real key to competing and winning is it's more than just the quarterback. You got to have all the pieces to the puzzle.
Absolutely.
And to be honest, I think the Cowboys are there. I hate the Cowboys. I hate them.
But
on paper, they're a pretty damn good team.
The defense has some flaws.
They got some work.
Yeah, defense has some flaws, but they do have an excellent receiving core. They have Zeke, who's a top pack. They've somehow always had a good offensive.
I think when Dak went down too, I think morale for their whole team just dropped.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a little bit of it back, kind of when they saw that they were still in the hunt.
Yeah.
Because the NFC East is such a joke. But you picture a guy like Zeke and Dak have been together from the start of it, so you got to imagine that those two are pretty close. So Zeke had his worst year last year. So you figure you see Dak have a crazy injury like that. Zeke is, his mind's probably in the gutter a little bit. Oh, this season's a wash. We might make it to the playoffs, but we're not going anywhere in it because our quarterbacks are not good.
Yeah.
So, I hate the Cowboys, like I said, but I seriously think this will boost their morale because, they've been trying to get Dak signed for a while now. And I think that honestly having, that out of the way now will help them. So
yeah,
to be seen, obviously, but I think it's a good move.
So do I. The only thing that I can now kind of take away from this is since he's had now his massive payday, when he becomes a free agent in 4 seasons, he should damn well take a pay.
Oh, for sure.
Because
he's made his money now.
So it's dude, you just got the most probably insane contract in American sports.
Well, the other thing to think about too,
Supermax. I mean,
the other thing to think about too, though, is Jerry Jones's pockets ain't empty. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
The dude's got the money to pay Dak.
I'm sure
the Cowboys in general have stupid money.
Jerry Jones himself probably didn't even pay him 4 years under 60. He just said, "Here's the account info to my bank account. Take what you want out of it," and it'll probably total out to 400 million. But for media purposes, he has to say 160. It's okay, guy.
Jerry's got the money, and it's Jerry's world. Jerry wanted to keep him.
Aren't they worth $6 billion?
Yeah, it's something stupid like that. It's
just
it's a lot,
insane amount,
and that's what I'm saying. So you can afford to do it. I mean, obviously you got to be under the cap, but
Yeah, I'm about to say that's a whole other spiel. But for teams like this who are worth $6 billion, to say that they
they
can
they
only
can swing it.
that they can only spend up to a certain amount, it's like, why?
Yeah, I don't really understand the
Why?
cap stuff. I don't
There should
really.
not be a cap in the best
No,
sport in
I
the
totally
world.
agree, and I don't really understand why they lowered it. Of all things, if anything, it should have went up a little bit or stayed the same as what it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just don't really understand the thinking behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. I don't really, which is weird, but I don't look into kind of the legal stuff as much as maybe I should. But, I think the biggest thing is as long as the players are happy, they're healthy, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
just give me football. I don't.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
guess.
care.
I mean, I think that if all right, there should be a cap, because obviously you say they take the cap, then we would be complaining about how the Cowboys are now paying for everybody.
Right.
They would have
True.
Shaq Barrett next year. They'd probably pay Allen Robinson. They'd pay every key free agent because he can afford to.
That's a solid point for sure.
Yeah. So like there for sure should be some sort of cap, but like,
well, I mean, that's like one of the things we're going to talk about later with the NBA. I mean, Blake Griffin going to the Nets. It's garbage, and it ruins the game, really.
Yeah.
I mean, because
for sure.
That's a great point, because like if the Cowboys are, one of the bigger market teams in the league just decided, oh, there's a good list of free agents this year, I'm going to just pick and choose from the litter.
Yeah.
Like,
just sweep
it's
them all,
garbage.
just do a clean sweep. Yeah.
We were 4-12 last year, but we're going to be 15-1 next year because I'm going to grab all these guys. Like,
well,
no.
I mean, technically they were 6-10. But I see your point.
I wasn't actually going at their record. I'm just saying.
I see your point. Now, we trashed the Dodgers for paying Power and essentially adding on to a championship team. Like, it isn't fair. So I mean, so it's pretty clear that we are pro cap, but I think that we are pro a higher.
Yeah, I think you need to have a cap. I'm not saying that, but you also don't need to stretch these teams thin to the point where, like for the Packers, we probably won't be able to bring back Corey Linsley and Aaron Jones because they're both deserving of big paydays, and the Packers can't do it. So I think that part is kind of garbage, because you should be able to sign guys that you drafted, and money shouldn't be the reason you can't. So that part of it is, or maybe you could do something where it's like, you can only spend a certain amount per year on like outside free agents.
Yeah.
So like you can keep your own guys, whether they were your draft picks or your guys that you picked up in free agency from years before.
Traded for them.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. If they were on your roster last year, but you can't just go out and like get whoever you want, kind of thing.
It's like the brand new free agents.
Right. But if they were on your roster from, you could have a deadline. If they were on your roster from this point last year, you should be able to sign them and not have to worry about, that's going to put me over the cap.
Yeah.
Like that's just dumb to me.
Or
in the biggest income driven league that we have.
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense.
There should be kind of a split cap. So like there should be a free agency cap. So you only have this much to spend in free agency, but it's totally different cap for
Your
or
guys.
just
Yeah.
for
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
your own people. So it isn't just one total overall cap.
Right.
It's like
Right.
two separate things. Then I think
At-
that'd be
At
Well-
NFL, we just solved your problem.
yeah, like and I mean just pay us like half of a percent of
Yeah. Well, I mean,
21.
we'll take some residual checks.
I'm about to
fine.
say just
Set me up
How
for the
about
rest
this?
of time, and I'll,
how about
you can take our idea.
how
We'll
about
give you the credit.
0.25% of 2021's revenue? 0.25. That's it. I'm sure it'll be maybe like 50, 60 million if that's it.
Sounds good to me. I'll see you in retirement, bud.
Yeah, I'll retire tomorrow if that happened.
I'll see you in Cabo, baby.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. I'll see you all over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's something should be changed. Obviously, I mean, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, it should start by hiring a new commissioner.
hot take a little bit, but
Not really hot take because everybody.
I don't know. I mean,
hates
there's a lot of people that
Rodrigo.
like him.
Who? You tell me who will take it back. Exactly.
I don't know because I don't
'Cause
like
you
him. But I'm
can't.
just saying there
That's
are
what I'm
people
saying.
who do.
Well, if you can tell me one person.
See, but it's not just him though. I mean, there's way more than just him. He's the image, that everybody can blame, kind of thing. But
Yeah. Well,
got a
that's,
little off topic.
Yep.
There
It's a little
is
off topic.
somebody I want to
Back
talk
today.
about.
Who?
Russ.
Russ.
We mentioned him a little bit.
Love Russ.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on whether or not you think he's going to go anywhere or if he's going to stay in Seattle. I'm listening, but I am going to grab a beer.
My thoughts. Here's my thoughts on good old Russ. Personally, I love him. I've loved him since his college.
Oh yeah,
He's a
Wisconsin guy. We
Wisconsin.
love him.
Obviously, always been rooting for him.
Mhm.
I do think he will go somewhere, whether it's this year, I don't know, but I do kind of think that Seattle is going to open up their phone lines. Even though personally, I think Pete Carroll should leave prior to Russ, but I mean, that's a whole other issue. So I don't think he should. I think you should do everything you fucking can to keep him there and keep him satisfied. So whether it's beefing up an O line so he isn't sacked 400 times, whatever the case may be, but keep him happy because that is a franchise guy. He has won a Super Bowl for you. Should be 2 Super Bowls had the fucking coach done the right thing. Hence why Pete Carroll should be sent out prior to Russ, because obviously if you make a different call in that Super Bowl, they are 2-time Super Bowl champions.
I'm pretty sure they love Pete Carroll in Seattle, but
yeah, but he costed you a Super Bowl. But also, I think that if he does go someplace, he'll want a larger market because obviously Sierra, she needs that larger space.
so you're saying she's high maintenance? Yeah.
You're saying she isn't high maintenance? I'm.
Hey, don't put words in my mouth. Hey.
I mean, I think that he will be shopped whether they have someone on the other line buying him. I don't know how soon that could be, but personally, I would like to see Russ as a Seahawk forever, just the same as I want Rodgers on the Packers forever. Because obviously, I do find joy in seeing people on the same team
Sure.
for their entire career.
Sure.
So that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Yeah, I mean, outside of that, I Seattle should do everything they can to hold on to them. But if they're seeing other things as their future, well, then hey,
Well, so
it's a business.
my whole thought on it is there's now only 3 teams that Russ would go to, because it was 4. Well, wait, back up. That's assuming that all of the stuff that you hear is true. Russell Wilson's agent, Mark Rogers, you don't know if he's bullshitting. I can't believe anybody at this point. So
No, you really
Mark
can't.
Rogers came out and said that Russ only wants to play for 4 teams. He said the Cowboys, the Saints, the Raiders, and the Bears. Those were his 4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Cowboys are off the table.
Yep.
Because they just signed Dak. They're not going to, obviously that's gone. I would like to think that the Raiders are also off the table a little bit because they have talked highly about Derek Carr. So I don't think that they would go out and go get Russell Wilson. So to me, that leaves the Saints and the Bears. Now, the Bears don't really have the cap. So they would have to get rid of certain players to create space for Russ.
But I mean, if you're talking about certain players, like who are they paying like super high for?
So I don't know if this is true.
Outside of
this
Foles.
is true. I don't know if this is true, but
Khalil Mack?
I was told that Khalil Mack was in a package for
Really?
Russ.
Insights.
Now you don't
sources, huh?
you don't know what the truth is or not on that. But I mean, you got to wonder if Russ would even want to go there, because once the Bears lose Khalil Mack, the face of their defense is gone.
Yeah, I was about to say it'd be even easier for Rodgers to put up 50 on him. And I mean,
Well,
the
he's
only
going to do that
person,
regardless.
the only person I think would be happy and satisfied if that happened would indeed be Sierra, because she's out of Seattle and in large
big market like Chicago, yeah.
market. Yeah, so it'd probably be a positive thing for her. Outside of her, I don't really see how Russ is happy, because he's joining a shit show of a franchise with
right. It's not going to get much better as far as protection.
Yeah. No, like it really isn't.
So I don't really get the thought process of him even saying that from the get-go.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd want to go to the Bears and compete with Aaron Rodgers all the time. No thanks.
Yeah, that's a hard pass.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that. Go compete against the MVP? Now, if it was like 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line.
Yeah, hey.
Let's say Rodgers isn't there anymore. Okay. I could maybe see it. Because at that point, we don't know who the Packers quarterback is going to be, which actually that brings up another thought I wanted to talk to you about. So, this just in. Tim Boyle
breaking news
confirmed. It's not really breaking because we have talked about it a little bit.
Oh, okay. Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle has confirmed an April 8th appearance.
Friend of the show, Tim Boyle?
Yes. Talk to him today. He'll be on April 8th.
April 8th.
So set your calendars.
Love it.
He's going on we tried to get him a little early, but he's going on a golf tournament in Oregon. So Tim, best of luck to you in that golf tourney. I know you'll strike a few down the fairway. I've seen your swing, so I'll be ready to rock. But anyway,
Tim, I haven't talked to you. I haven't seen you, but thrilled, man.
there you go.
Thrilled.
There you go. So anyway, back to the football side of things. I got him up here because, him and I are cool. We're boys.
Friend of the
He
show.
signed the jersey. Friend of the show. Love him. But I'm curious as to what the Packers are going to do there. Because you take a first-round pick and you sign a quarterback. Now, I've made my kind of feelings clear about that. I was not a huge fan of it. I still am not,
No,
especially after the year that Rodgers had. But I've also had kind of a personal side of it, considering my friend over here was the backup. So it's like I feel that he didn't really get a fair shake at things, and I think he should be pissed, kind of have a little chip on his shoulder. But, and I might go into this a little bit with him when we have him on, but I think personally that Tim Boyle is capable of being a starter in the NFL.
Oh,
so it's
sure.
like if you're Goody, do you? I don't. I'm very confused on how they're going to do this because do you let Tim Boyle walk? I think that's a huge mistake, and I think they should have learned their lesson when they let Taysom Hill walk. The guy's a beast with the Saints.
I also think that I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think that Taysom has succeeded so much because he is in that Saints offense. I think it is because Sean Payton is there, and Sean Payton obviously comes up with offensive packages like another. I don't.
Unfortunately, we won't really know the answer to that ever. But
I would say personally, I don't think Taysom would have been the Taysom he is in our offense, just because I think that Sean Payton figured out how to.
Well, the guy's a football player.
Oh,
he's not a quarterback. He's a football player, which I love.
You can
honestly
put him in.
Yeah, running back, tight end, whatever. He can play
either
special teams
side. Honestly, yeah. I think that I don't like that Jordan Love picks so much in so many aspects. Not only because we could have picked, plenty other people who could have probably pushed us over the edge in the Tampa game. But I've seen Tim play. He's a fucking caller. He can play. He can play in this league. Not only play, but he can start very well. And I think that he needs his shot, and as soon as he gets his shot, it's over. I think we got some technical difficulties. Are we back?
That's interesting. Yeah, looks like we're good now.
Oh, well, I just said this whole spiel on how Tim should have his shot. And pretty much I think that not even saying this because he is a friend of the show, just because I've seen the guy play. He's a fucking hauler. Like, he can play.
I totally agree. Yeah.
He can not only play quarterback, he can start and be a successful, efficient quarterback on plenty of these teams in the NFL.
The guy can sling it. I mean, I've seen firsthand at training camp when they just kind of let it loose a little bit. The guy's got a cannon. So
yes, he does.
I mean, I'm not going to go put money on him versus Mahomes or Josh Allen as far as arm talent goes,
Oh yeah.
but I would
Yeah.
damn near put him in that conversation.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
as far as
hot take a little bit there,
arms are,
but I mean, I've said since I've known him, and even prior to that, my dad and I saw him at training camp when he was first picked up as an undrafted rookie. I honestly just thought he had that potential, and I think he's shown it. So it'll be interesting to see how the Packers handle that with, him being a free agent this offseason. I think it would be horribly stupid to let him go, just in the selfish fact of if you do let him go, Russell Wilson doesn't go to the Bears, Tim Boyle signs with the Bears, and all of a sudden he's playing against you twice a year.
God, I'd hate that.
I would hate that so much.
I know, I would too.
And honestly, I could see him kind of tearing our defense up a little bit. So it's like,
well, yeah, I mean, he knows exactly how to.
He knows how to. He does it daily.
He's seen it inside and out.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, obviously it doesn't have the same like pain as like when Favre did it to us.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever be like that.
A similar feeling. And for me personally, it's even worse because it's like I know him on a personal level. So it's like, oh, great.
Now my friends on the Bears.
Now my friends on the Bears, which it's like, you know what? Obviously we became friends, kind of not through the Packers, but in a sense through the Packers. So it's like, that's why we became friends. But now, I mean, if he were to go to the Bears, I would still root for him. I will never root for the Bears specifically.
For sure. It's like you cheer for him, root for him, except for the 3 hours that he plays us. And I think that he can respect that, obviously.
Absolutely. And to be honest, there would be a part of me that would want to see him go off and light us up, not win the game.
Maybe like
if he throws for 7 touchdowns,
4 touchdowns. Yeah.
He throws for 7, but Rodgers throws for 8. I'm good with that.
Yeah,
those are my boys. Those are my boys. They're right here. I mean,
that would be some crazy things.
I'd be all for it. So, I mean, but in all seriousness, I think it would be dumb for the Packers to let him go. And I think they have to kind of decide how they're going to proceed with that, because if you don't play Jordan Love and if he doesn't even suit up again, you absolutely wasted that first round pick. And I think it's totally proven at that point, because I get, you put him on the practice squad his rookie year. That's fine. But if you do it a second year in a row, now it's like, okay, you wasted this dude and didn't even suit him up for 2 years.
Yeah. And
was that really the best move?
Yeah. And it's like a first round pick. They only get 4 seasons on a contract plus a 5th year option.
Mm-hmm.
One season's over now.
Right.
Like one season was just for nothing. Mm-hmm. The second season, probably the same thing, because obviously we still have the MVP.
Right.
So, and to be honest, I don't see him leaving even in his 3rd season either. Right. So it's like, okay,
hopefully not.
We'll for sure have 2 seasons now that are pretty much out the door, possibly a 3rd.
Well, and I think the biggest question that you have to ask yourself as a Packer fan, should Aaron Rodgers go down? Knocking on wood, because I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to wood.
But should the worst happen and that transpires?
Has happened before.
It has. Should that happen, who would you feel more comfortable with taking over our offense? For me, from a non-biased side, I would honestly say Tim Boyle, because he's been in our system. He knows it inside and out just as well as Rodgers does, because he's been there with them the whole time. And Jordan Love has not played a single snap of even preseason in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's not ready.
No.
I mean, he's just not. So my take on it is it would be completely foolish to let a guy like Tim Boyle go.
For sure could be. I mean, obviously, because he is a friend, I don't want to kind of speculate on his future signings
Sure.
and all that. But
Sure.
I mean, I'd like to think that he isn't going to be paid what like Patrick Mahomes is and all that. So like, so
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. So when he is signed, I'm sure that they probably don't have to pay him a ton in comparison
Right.
to other quarterbacks.
It won't be a Dak contract.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, say you pay him, I don't know what, 7 million or whatever it is, I don't know, but
Which is chump change for most of the teams in the league.
Yeah, so say you pay him that or whatever else, and you have a pretty solid number 2, like
or one,
yeah, depending on obviously the circumstances. But
yeah, I truly think, and in the words of Coach Lucchese, like he was saying last week, it's not lip service. I truly believe this.
Oh yeah,
in the fact that he can be a starter. So
he for sure
you
is
know,
able to.
I would also think that there's got to be a little bit of a, like, not necessarily a chip, but a, you know, him being a professional competitor. There's got to be a want in him that's like, you know what, the Packers clearly don't give a rat's ass about me. You know, like they drafted this other guy as kind of an FU to myself and Aaron Rodgers. There's got to be, I would think there's a little piece of him that it's like, okay, I love you guys because you are the reason I'm in the NFL.
Yeah.
But you also kind of showed that you don't really believe in me to be the next guy in a way.
Yeah.
So it's I could see him going somewhere else and starting or competing for a starting spot.
Same. I mean, the Bears have a shit show in the quarterback room. I mean, who's to say he doesn't just go a few hours south of here?
Mm-hmm.
Who says
that? And if they don't get Russ,
or there's some other teams that could use a quarterback like,
for sure.
Washington for sure could use one.
Jets. I mean,
Jets,
pre-draft, of course, but
Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Teddy Bridgewater. Well, I said them.
Oh, you said Washington?
Yeah, I said Washington. Yeah, so there's other teams that for sure would say, "Hey, Tim, come fight for a spot. Here's 6 million," and for I'm assuming being Tim, I'm assuming he would take that. I mean, I don't see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've never had these conversations with him. That's obviously his business.
Yeah.
But I would think, you know, from what I do know of Tim and, you know, kind of our friendship, I think he wants to play, but I also think he knows a good situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and learning from the MVP. You know, and that's knowledge that's very good for him to keep gaining as long as he can. So
yeah, because there's one thing that the Packers offer that Washington cannot offer is being in the same quarterback room as a first ballot Hall of Famer. Correct. Like, there's only a couple of teams that can offer that, and those teams probably won't offer him anything. I'm just assuming, but obviously the Packers can offer him some pretty insane knowledge.
Right.
And
Which,
obviously,
yeah, the Packers aren't going to give you the $6 million a year, but
yeah.
that knowledge you're going to gain from 12 is pretty priceless as far as the longevity of your career.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And then, I mean, even say that he takes that knowledge today and then in a couple of seasons after 12, hopefully isn't finished, but say that he is, say that he takes that knowledge and he takes it over to a Carolina and he just goes off. And then say a couple seasons after that, Tim Boyle signs a 35 a year contract. I mean, that's not
somewhat
out of
right?
this. Like,
No, it's not.
that isn't insane to say because he's talented, he's capable, he has a fucking cannon of an arm. He's extremely intelligent on the football field,
Right?
And plus, he's had the chance to sit behind a first ballot Hall of Famer, arguably,
Pretty solid
but
resume, really.
But yet, for fourth strings opinion, the greatest quarterback ever, Aaron. Oh, excuse me, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's just it's not even out of this.
Right. Well,
realm.
I mean, I think that's almost a lost art, for lack of a better term, in going and getting quarterbacks a lot and then seeing them succeed. I mean, Ron Wolf was like probably the biggest creator of that. I mean, at one point, the Packers held Aaron Brooks, Matt Hasselbeck, and Favre on the same roster.
Ish.
Aaron Brooks and Hasselbeck both went on to be starters.
Yeah.
It's
I forgot we had Aaron Brooks.
Yeah, so it's not.
I forgot about that.
And he had a good NFL career with the Saints.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
yeah, who's this Saints guy?
And I mean, it's not unheard of. And the Packers are a team that has done that quite a bit, honestly. So I think it's a smart move. So I think that if the Packers had that kind of mindset in mind when they took Jordan Love, to kind of get a quarterback every year and develop him a little bit, then either get draft picks for him or him ending up being your guy. Okay, then maybe I don't hate the pick. But I think they were drafting the heir to the GOAT, and I don't like that because I think it was premature, and I just think it was dumb. I don't think you need to spend a first-round pick to find a starting quarterback. I mean, to go back to Boyle was undrafted.
Yeah, that's
wild.
That is insane.
I mean,
side note, totally unrelated, but I'm hyped. I just hit a parlay. For our sports bets. Hit a parlay. I had Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Maple Leafs, Carolina Hurricanes, all to win. They just all won. It's parlay season here on 4th. Love it.
I don't even want to hear it.
Okay.
You want to know why? I don't want to hear it? So
enlighten me.
I'm gonna take a look, which I haven't done this entire pod, but I'm gonna assume it's not good. I made an accidental mistake today with my betting.
But if it hits, though.
Yeah.
But if it hits, you won't be upset.
So here's what happened. What had happened was I decided to make a bet, and I don't have the skinniest of fingers, so meant to put $30 on a bet. Well, the 0 and the 00 are right next to each other. I accidentally hit the 00, and instead of 30, put 300 on a 16 parlay. Looking at the scores here, probably not going to happen because I needed the Bucks to win, which looking pretty solid there.
Yeah, hey,
that'll
happen.
I needed the Heat to win, or to win, I should say. That's up and coming, yet to be determined.
They're
up by 2 in the third.
Oh, okay. Got by 2.
I needed the Pelicans to win. It's 91-74 with 3 minutes left in the third. Not looking good there.
Hey.
And I also need the Mavericks to win. 37-24 in the second. Still a lot of time, but that's not looking good.
Thunder?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And then I also need the Clippers tonight and the Lakers tomorrow. So not looking great there for me. 300 down the tubes.
Damn.
Let's get
to be
it.
honest, kind of upset
on.
I didn't put more on this, but it's okay. Hey, a win is a win. I cannot complain, obviously, since you're experiencing this.
You could
Obviously,
be
I could be in your shoes.
$270 deeper than what you should have been. So
Yeah, well, I mean, shit. Had I put 300 on that parlay, I'd be extremely happy, but I didn't.
True.
So anyways, seeing as our return to the sports betting part has now happened, back to the original topic of our quarterbacks. Now, I just honestly, just all this talk is getting me super excited, hyped, pumped for this interview because, to be honest, like, I've seen pro athletes, I've seen famous people, I've said hi to some other pros out there, but I haven't ever sat down and had a conversation with a pro athlete ever. So I'm hyped.
I mean, I'm pretty blessed to say that I have. You know, I've sat down and had conversations with Ryan Braun, Giannis. You know, kind of my list goes on, and the fact that I worked for the Bucks and the Brewers. So, like,
yeah,
I'm pretty fortunate to say that I've done those things. But, you know, I wouldn't say that I've ever really truly had a friend in pro sports.
Yeah.
So that for me is different, you know, having that versus before I was there because of my jobs, you know, things like that. Whereas now it's like it's just different.
Yeah. I'd say the most interaction with the pro athlete was, I think I exchanged 2 sentences with John Lester. Like, I think I said, like, hey, John. He said, hey, what's up, man? Something like that. I said, how are you? He answered. He was super awesome, but of course, just like a fast encounter.
Sure.
And outside of that, like, I really haven't ever.
Honestly, though, man, I think that's awesome because it's stuff like that I don't know when that instance was, but that's the kind of stuff that you never really forget.
Oh,
you know, so it's something that sticks with you. That's
awesome. I don't remember the exact season, but it was I think it was right after the Cubs World Series season.
Okay.
I think it was 2017 or something, but oh wait, no. Maybe it was the season before. I don't know. But the point is that that I saw there at the time. I think he was their number 1 or number 2 pitcher. And we just kind of exchanged some sentences as if I was on the same, like, level as him, and I'm obviously not even close. But it was just a fun experience.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So point is that I'm hyped for Tim because it's my first time actually sitting down talking to back and forth with a pro athlete, and to be honest, I'm kind of happy that it's Tim is my first one.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be cool too because, I think he's going to be the first of many that we're going to have. So it's,
Mhm.
I think it's very
There's
cool that
others in
we're
the
having
works.
a close friend that's,
Yeah.
going to be the first one, but then it's just kind of branch off after that as far as,
Yeah.
other players that we'll have the privilege to talk to. So it's
Absolutely.
definitely a cool thing that fourth is going to get to experience here. But switching topics, we brought it up a little bit before when we were talking about the cap. I hate this. I think it should not be allowed. But what are your thoughts on Blake Griffin going to the Nets and making them an even bigger powerhouse?
Well, it sucks as a Eastern Conference team fan. I think our chances of reaching the finals have now fallen, not exponentially, but for sure has made it a lot harder.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just like,
When you got
come
4 All-Stars
on.
as your starters,
It's like,
ridiculous.
come on. Well, plus you got, I mean, not only 4 all stars, but you have 2 champions. 2 of them, both of them, are quite pretty much the reason that those championships even became a thing.
Right.
Because
Right.
the shot for Cleveland. I mean,
I don't know about
Kyrie hit
that
the
for
shot.
KD.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, I mean, he was
or really even Kyrie.
MVP.
I mean, they were huge parts of it, but
I mean, Kyrie
I don't know if you can say they're the main
hit the
reason.
shot, so
Yeah,
I'd say that
that's one shot to force a game 7. That's not.
no, that was in game 7 that he hit that shot. Yes, it was. It was game 7. It was the block that LeBron
Oh, you're talking
had
about
transition.
you're talking about that shot.
Kyrie hit the shot. Yes, so he was the reason for that one, in my opinion, because I don't think it was LeBron. Just because I don't like him.
LeBron made the block.
But
LeBron doesn't make that block. There is no shot.
Yeah, there is, because that was a 2-point shot. Kyrie hit a 3.
Iguodala puts in that bucket right there.
They pass it, take it up floor. He hits the 3. They're still up by. Oh,
they would have been tied.
I think they're tied. Yeah,
or down tied. 1, whichever it was.
It's tied. All right. Well, still,
that block is huge. Plus, you act like LeBron is some slouch.
I don't like him.
I know you don't.
I don't like LeBron.
Still, he's unbelievable. I don't like him either, but
yeah,
regardless.
He's not my ideal.
They were obviously key points to those teams. Yes. I don't know if you can say they're the main point though, because especially for KD was solid on that Warriors team, but they were just fine even without him. So
yeah, but they were 73-9. So
right. So they didn't really need him.
That's for sure. I do think, obviously, though, they were huge parts, as clear that they are. Mm-hmm. Point is that you have 2 champions, another probably first ballot Hall of Famer in Harden. That's just facts. And then Griffin, who has all right, since he came to the Pistons, he obviously hasn't been super what's the phrase where a super quality / the super star that he was, but also I partially think it's because of the team that he was on. So to be honest, I think that he will probably excel for Brooklyn. I think that this is a whole new fire for him. He sees, okay, I can actually compete for a title.
Right.
It's time to turn it on. Personally, I think for looking at it through the eyes of him, I love it, but looking at it through the eyes of a fan of another team in the Eastern Conference, it's like I hate it. I hate it because our chances just fell.
Well, I mean, yeah, and
quite a bit.
The Bucks are 22 and 14, I believe.
Yes, 22 and
about to be
14.
23 and 14 here when they finish up this Knicks game. But like, the Knicks, or not the Knicks, they're playing the Knicks. The Nets and the 76ers are both ahead of them right now. And the 76ers are kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the one positive.
The MVP.
Oh, easy with that. Easy with that.
Go on, Embiid's MVP.
Right now, yes.
Yes, he's MVP
we still
right
got
now.
We got a bunch of games to play.
Who's on his tail?
Curry.
Okay,
Curry's been playing lights out.
Yes, okay, but when you put
I don't trust Embiid.
A top seed Sixers team against a
broken Warriors team,
against a 10th place Warriors
they're
team,
still in the hunt, and it's solely because of Curry.
Yes.
Anyways,
the Sixers are number one.
Anyways.
Okay.
See,
I'm listening. I'm
listening. Train of thought.
Okay. Point is that I don't.
Park the car.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay. All right. Okay.
When playoffs hit, anything can happen. Obviously, we've seen that. The Bucks have been the best team in the East for the past 2 seasons. It didn't matter because they got bounced out in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. I think the biggest thing is you got to get hot at the right time. And I hope that the Nets kind of just fall apart because they got too many guys that like demand the ball, So like, I'm hoping that the Bucks start to figure it out now that we're on the second half of the season, and the Nets fall apart.
Yeah. Honestly, the facts of it are there's 4 of them, but there's only one basketball. They can't all have it.
True.
So as long as you can just hold the ball, and by that I mean whomever has that said basketball, like if you just contain them on that possession, you will have a shot. And I mean, obviously, that's just
you got to remember it's 7 games.
Yep, it's 7 games. I do
happen.
I do think Brooklyn will probably win the East, unfortunately, just because.
Stop it! I got money on the Bucks winning the East, so stop it. Granted, that was before all this stuff, but
obviously, you just can't say that they won't be in that Eastern Conference Finals. I mean,
I definitely think they'll be in the finals.
Just too good.
I just don't know if they're going to win it.
I mean, I like to think they won't. I mean, if you're putting up 130 every game, you don't really need defense. Like, you don't really need defense. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, it sucks a ton. It's terrible as a Hawks fan, but the reality of it is that it just got harder.
Not even just as a Bucks fan. I think it's terrible as a fan of basketball.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think it's crap.
Another thing, though, is that should the Bucks move past them, it will be that much sweeter.
Oh, for sure.
Like, hey, we just beat 3 Hall of Famers and a 4th potential Hall of Famer.
Right. Well, and I think the
the
biggest thing to that to kind of caveat off of that, if the Bucks do that and they win the East for the third year in a row, or not win the East, but win, best team in the East, that type of thing, I think that really truly solidifies these types of free agents wanting to come to Milwaukee. Because at that point, why would you not want to go to Milwaukee, play with Giannis, and contend? I mean, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's just so many other things that are involved because obviously it's a small market, so the possibility of a larger endorsement kind of falls apart. Well, not so much falls apart, but it becomes much
harder
more
to do, for
difficult
sure.
to obtain. And it's, I mean, I'm a hometown dude, born here, raised here. I want us to have every possible player that there is for a championship, but I'm also not naive to think that will happen because it probably isn't, because that's just how it is. Being a smaller market team, you just have to hope that something special takes place.
So we're gonna kind of switch into baseball here, but it kind of goes off of that small market teams. The Brewers are making some moves.
They are.
And I mean, it's similar circumstance where they have an MVP, they have a small market. But I think people are seeing that the Brewers got some real potential to be a contender. People want to come play with Yelly. I mean, them signing Wong and Jackie Bradley Jr., those are serious moves. And I'm seeing all this stuff on like MLB.com and Bleacher Report and all these other different sites that have the Brewers pretty high on the power rankings. So, I mean, it's not crazy to say that one player can make a difference in these free agents' mindsets I want to go play with that guy. I want to be on a good team. I never would have thought Colton Wong would be a Brewer. Never in my lifetime. Bradley Jr. either. Bradley Jr. was on that, 2016 Red Sox World Series?
Oh, 2018.
2018, sorry.
2016 was
years.
Cubs.
Oh, right. That's what I was thinking about because you mentioned that before. Okay. 2018, whatever. He was on that Red Sox team that won a World Series. So it's like, I never would have thought that. And you got to believe that Bradley Jr. kind of wanted to come here so he could fill that outfield with Yelly.
I mean, I would hope so. I mean, obviously, in my mind, if I'm a player, I want to find a spot that I have the chance to play with just a generational super.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
star.
Competition makes you better too.
Oh, for sure.
Not only are you teammates with that guy, but you are competing with that guy on a daily basis in a sense too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and shoot. Well, all right. Let's also think about this. He's obviously a center fielder.
Yep.
Yelly, he can play center, but he's more of a
left or right guy.
Corner outfield. But his true competition is no slouch on his own. He just won a Gold Glove in 19.
19, yep.
19.
You're talking about Locaine, right?
Yes, sir. Not today.
Well, I mean, you gotta wonder how many years Locaine has left. You know, I mean, he's getting up there as far as
on his contract, he's got 2 years.
Well, right, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do because they have a stacked outfield that you can't play all of them.
Oh, yeah,
and that's assuming that Ryan Braun doesn't come back.
I know, it's ridiculous.
I mean, you got Yelly, Locaine, and Avi. Those are like your
Yes.
starters kind of going in, I would think. So it'll be interesting to see where JBJ kind of mixes into that picture.
hmm I mean,
Because one
it's
of them is going to have to take kind of a back seat, and it ain't going to be
yeah.
Yelly.
No, no.
So
This entire
you would think it's
franchise
going to
is
be
yelling.
low.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is low because I mean, obviously, Avi, he played center in filling for
Mm-hmm. Well,
Kane for
and
the
I mean,
COVID season.
he has a great bat, so you can't sit him.
Yeah, uh huh. He
And he's
just
been
hits
going
too
nuts in
good.
spring training.
Yeah, his spring has been just insane. But I mean, it'll be kind of crazy to see like what that kind of matchup kind of pushes each of those two to kind of perform
Yeah,
at because
for sure.
like obviously you said they have to fight, that they have to compete for that spot because there's only a single open spot, and just obviously the competition just pushes you. So to be honest, I kind of have high expectations for that center field spot because
Oh yeah,
whoever
two pretty
takes
damn
that
good
job,
ones.
yeah. So I expect us to be honest, outside of the Dodgers, have the best outfield in the NL.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, as far as the entire MLB, I mean, I'm obviously
It's tough.
not as educated on the American teams, but I can't see many of them
Right.
passing up ours.
No.
And yeah, it's just I think that as long as our top five can stay hot how they typically are, and then the production at the bottom end just kind of comes as a hey, show up at some point in time.
Right.
We have a chance to actually possibly take another 2018
Absolutely.
run.
I mean, baseball's a funny game that way, where
Yeah,
any team can get hot. Just
Yeah,
takes the
I
right
mean-
guys at the right time.
hmm
I mean, obviously you got to play well enough throughout the year to get yourself there,
yeah,
but you know, it's not totally crazy to think about that kind of that run being a possibility, especially with the mayor of Ding Dong City coming back too.
Oh, I know, dude. Travis Shaw. I'm excited
Hell yeah.
for that.
Pumped about that. He hit
And-
one, I think, yesterday too.
Yep, he did. One thing I did kind of want your opinion on is the status of Josh Hader. There's a ton of talks of him being moved, traded high, because obviously he is the top reliever in all of baseball. Do you trade him high? Do you keep him and probably pay him a fuck ton come agency? And does he have 2 seasons left or whatever it is? But there's a ton of talks of him being moved, and I haven't really talked to you about it, so I'm curious as your thoughts on that.
So Josh Hader. Well, I love Josh Hader. I do. You know, I think with a guy like that, you can't really pay him. You know, I mean, not to say that closing pitchers and setup pitchers like he is aren't valuable, because we've seen on multiple occasions that they're extremely valuable. But I think with Hader, you almost, in a sense, you got to field those calls and looking toward the future a little bit, because he's worth a lot,
Yeah.
you know, so you could get a lot in return. And I mean, it's tough to say because on one hand, I think if, near the trade deadline, the Brewers are in it, but maybe we're missing that one piece. Hader gives you that option to go and get that one piece if you put him in a package with somebody else or something. Yeah. So I think he kind of gives that potential for us to, get over the edge a little bit. But at the same point, I do think that if you got rid of Hader or traded him, whatever, I think you'd have to find a way to really replace him, because having a dominant closing pitcher like that is huge.
Yeah. What I could see us doing is, because obviously last season we saw the rookie of the year, Kevin Williams, he just exploded. He was untouchable, and he was a rookie.
Yeah,
meaning that we have
right.
five more seasons until we could pay him. So I'm thinking, hey, maybe you sell high on Hader, kind of turn over the closer to
sure
Williams. It's like, hey, I mean, that could be a sexy package.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent spot for the Brewers to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, with having both of those guys.
Yeah. Personally, I think, you kind of have to sell high, especially because you do have such another dominant person that has so much extra time before you have to actually pay him. So I'd say sell high.
I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah.
As much as I love the guy, it's
same here.
I also think he's starting to get to the point a little bit where teams have seen him now for a couple of years.
Yeah.
He doesn't, I mean, when his slider is working, you ain't touching it. And when his fastball is coming, 95, 96 on his good days.
Oh, it's
if
up
not
there.
Higher,
it's like
98,
98, 99. Yeah. Like it's a
point
high
being,
fastball.
If he's dealing, you're not touching him. But now there's more scouting reports. There's him not having his best stuff. So I think you got to take advantage while you can.
Yeah, and plus you kind of saw that teams are starting to see him more come to the forefront in 2019 in the wild card, in that absolutely heartbreaking loss that I could not believe had happened. That obviously, if we had a healthy MVP out and right, what happened wouldn't have actually happened. Nationals aren't winning the series then, so you're welcome. You're welcome.
Washington
fans of Washington. Even though you guys didn't need that championship, because the season prior the Capitals won it all. So thanks for taking all right.
So titles. I got kind of a final closing question for you.
Shoot.
This year, 2021. Okay, for the football season, it would be technically finished in 2022. But
yes,
you get one team to win a championship this season. Who do you want to win the most?
So you're saying not the Packers?
No. Well, no, I'm saying 2021 season, but theirs technically ends in 2022.
So this upcoming NFL season. So if
they're included, Packers, Bucks, Brewers, who you got?
All of our team.
Well, I mean, would you want another team to win?
Well, I thought that's what you asked, and I was like,
I'm hanging up right now. And this would be
that's
our
what I was asking. I was
episode.
like, well, what are you asking me? No, all right. To be honest,
Jesus Christ,
Brewers.
Okay.
Here's why. I've seen a Packers
Yep.
title.
Yep.
I can watch it whenever I choose on YouTube.
Yes.
Shit, if I wanted to, I can even pull up to 71 pucks. Sure, it's old as shit, but I mean, technically they have one. But the
Right.
Brewers don't have jack. Plus, I just had that special place in my heart for them because I am
Sure.
such a huge fan of the sport. So, and plus 2018 literally took some of the gears off of my like span of life. Like I needed that
Yeah.
title win so
Tough.
bad, and and so if I had to pick one, it'd be the Brewers. But obviously, second would be the Bucks because I want Giannis to have that title so bad, so bad, and then obviously the Packers would be solid, fucking cool, perfect to have Rodgers' second title, but he already has one, so it's like, okay, let's kind of share for the other sports in Wisconsin. So my order would be Brewers, Bucks, Packers.
Fair enough.
How about you?
Well, first of all, I'm not even going to make this seem like I'm opposed to any one of them, because by no means would I be opposed if any one of the three got a title.
It don't matter who, as long as one of them
I
does.
would absolutely love any one of them.
Same.
But I think for me, it kind of depends on the rest of the world. And what I mean by that is I don't know how much I would really, I don't want to say I don't really care. I would not care as much if any one of those three teams win with limited fans.
Well,
because you don't get to be a part of it. You know, I mean, with me having season tickets with my dad, I have a chance to go to not only playoff games, but there is a possibility of getting to a Super Bowl and getting tickets for that. Going to Brewer playoff games.
Electric.
Sick. Bucks playoff games, same thing.
Electric.
So it's like, I don't know if I would even want them to. Okay, back up. I absolutely would want them to win, but it's not going to be the same as what it would be if you get full fans and stands. Yeah. So, I mean, if I had to put an order on it, I would probably say Packers are still one for me, just because, like, I love the Bucks and the Brewers, but the Packers are just they're my number one. Yeah. And I would love to see these two get rings. I mean, he has one, but he could use one, you know, and that'd be sick.
For those not watching on video and
correct
listening
Aaron
on
Rodgers, Tim Boyle, I got jerseys above my head. So Packers were going to be number one for me. Plus, part of that is because of how close we've gotten in the past few years and just always managed to fall short.
The sad thing is you can say that for all three, though.
Facts.
But I feel like the sad part.
I feel like the Packers are just the best of the three teams. Personally,
yeah, I'd say the closest
they've been the longest dominant.
Yeah.
So
the closest are the Packers. Second, I would I mean, since the East has kind of turned into how it is, I would say it goes Packers, Brewers, Bucks as far as
that's kind of where I was leaning.
Chances at a title.
That's kind of where I was leaning in my order too. I mean, because don't get me wrong, like I said, I want any one of the three to win. Yeah. But like, I don't know. It seems so weird to me, you know, not going to those playoff games. not getting to party on whatever parade, depending on which team wins kind of thing. I would almost rather wait for like the Bucks and the Brewers, especially. I'd almost rather wait till next year, when it's like entire city of Milwaukee basically shuts down because we're partying today. Like
that was electric.
It's going nuts.
You mean to tell me
the Brewers are going to the playoffs, game 7 of the NLCS? We don't get to tailgate for it? Like, just try and put yourself in that headspace. To me,
well, every time you
that
say
sounds terrible.
Game 7, NLCS,
well, right. But
a piece of me
this year, game 7, NLCS, probably against the Dodgers again. Miller Park. American Family Field.
It's Miller Park.
I know, but not legally.
Yeah.
Game 7, and we're sitting on our couch watching. Instead of parading around, tailgating, getting hyped, interacting with other fans, it's not as fun. It
isn't.
Diminishes a little bit of that experience.
Technically, I was on my couch for 2018 Game 7, but I was at a party. I had
fair enough
around me.
Technically, you're not even supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, as long as you have the vaccine, like, why not? But that's a color spiel. I want sports to go back to full capacity. I know that all of us do. At some point in time, they will shit in Texas. It is already because Texas just does.
No, they don't
care about. They don't give a fuck about anything. I can't wait for the day that we can.
Agreed.
Tailgate and somehow
nice big old Johnsonville.
Somehow stumble into the stadium because we're just half trashed already, and then have 4 or 5 brats inside because we're so hungry.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
come April 1st. I'm going by my cousin Joel's, and we're gonna party and tailgate outside his backyard.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be tailgating regardless. Side note, Joel, you don't even know this, but I'm coming, so hope you're ready.
I cannot wait for the day that I pay $20 for.
I know, right? It's like I want to overpay for this.
Like I want to overpay by so much for this shit just because I haven't overpaid in so long. Like,
right.
Like take my
that'll get old.
$10 for a beer for real. Like I'll be in like the
oh my god, I gotta pay $10 for a beer. This sucks.
Yeah, shit. Well,
okay. I've had my fill.
So I'm sewing up real quick.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just at some point in time it'll be back to normal, and when it does,
it's gonna be a fun day.
It will be
whenever that day comes. But
hopefully soon. Do you have
anyways,
oh wait, no,
it's about that time. You got any closing thoughts?
I do as always. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. And I can't wait to hear the quote of this week.
And just so touching. I can't.
Yeah, I know.
Can't even. I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, I know.
Hide
your tears.
Get a little song going, All right, quote of the week. Sorry for that delay. Remember that not getting what you want is sometimes a wonderful stroke of luck. Which, as someone who just lost a bet, I'm hoping that a stroke of luck is coming my way. So,
rest in peace.
Love. We love all of you. Big time drop.
Everybody love everybody.
Coming probably within the next week or so for the merch. We will drop links and everything. We'll have it ready to go.
Keep your eyes open.
Dud and I have been working hard on it. We love it. Very excited. So
beautiful.
Keep your eyes open. Buy the merch. We'll see you next time.
I can tell you it'll be phenomenal.
It's gonna be sick.
Phenomenal merch.
We love you. See you next time.